bring back the casters so we can get into our next series of the day. Smoothie, go with strawberry banana. It's a solid option. It's a classic
I gotta
pick.
say, anything just stocked filled with berries, that's the move. As you know, Riot, classically, if you ever visit them for the LCS, I believe you can find some smoothies there. Get the Vlad berry one. That's the move.
Vladberry. What's in the Vladberry?
It's just a lot of berries. That's where it's at.
Okay.
And a hemoplague.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's the good type of sugar, you know.
I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't remember other types of smoothies. I was like, strawberry banana's classic.
There's the
and then I just kind of
one.
BS the other three. Those are like that's the only one I remember.
There was a Soraka smoothie. It had like banana, coconut, pineapple. It basically was like a pina colada, and that was my personal favorite.
Well, smoothies aside, now we have another series ahead of us, so I want to bring the conversation to the future. And also, everyone, send your energy to Sierra right now. She's got a tornado warning, so I'm filling in for her right now, but we're hoping that will pass and she'll be able to come back later on in the day.
The joys of remote broadcasting.
Exactly. It's fantastic. Yeah. But for right now, we'll bring our attention to our next series of the day, which is 100 Thieves versus CLG. Really big match. We've been excited about this one all week because these are two teams towards the top of the standings, and both of them are fighting potentially for that first place spot, which is still in contention right now, Cubby.
It's incredible that 100 Thieves, they are the youngest team we've ever seen in the Academy. No one is in like double digits or 20 plus. Everyone is in their teens on this roster. They are somehow second in our standings. And also, I think it's a great opportunity for CLG because CLG, we've really cemented them as the team that is solidly in fourth. They have a chance to prove that they are not just a fourth place team. They are deserving to be in the conversation for our top three squads. So they have a chance to take down 100 Thieves. Really exciting match. This was my match of the day, the one I had circled. Excited to see what goes on in this one.
So that will bring up, obviously, CLG, the roster that we'll take a look at first here. This roster has changed a little bit since the spring. The notable examples were players like Jenkins and Dokla swapping out between the two of them, but then Meech and Kevy in here as well, Rafa. These are two pretty exciting players that we've been watching throughout the summer.
Meech, we had been tracking for the past 2 years, Kangas. Like, we were ready for the Meech show since 2020 for him to come up from amateur, and we saw him on teams like Dignitas Mirage, an old amateur roster as well. I think prior to this was Immortals amateur. I was trying to think of their name. Oh, because it was the Immortals AoE collaboration for them as well. Yeah. And then CLG saw an opportunity to yoink Meech away. And this is the first time that Meech has ever been separated from his longtime duo, Trevor Roy, over from the amateur roster. But so far, I mean, we had high expectations. I think Meech is, doing decently and living up to them for the most part in this summer split debut.
And it's not just Meech, it is also Kevy in the jungle. We have a replay package, but before we run it... Oh, okay, it looks like we're running it right now. I was going to say, I wanted to do a segment that we call Force to Debate, where we debate who's the win condition for each team, because, Cubby, I believe that you had Kevy as your potential win condition for the team, but you're also going to be arguing for the other side on 100 Thieves. So, Rafa, talk to me about Kevy. Talk to me about this jungler on the CLG side and why he's been working out so well for the team.
Kevy has international experience. He has never lost a single game of Evelyn, and I think it's been banned almost every single round as well. So, like, this guy's a master at magic damage junglers, and so there's a reason why it needs to be respected.
And, given that reputation, he has just been playing Wukong with a Viego game in there as well. But I think his Wukong has been 4-1. He's been setting up team fights really well. And also, I think that he's actually reading his laners, which for someone that's just joining a team, I think has been really nice to see out of a jungler that has played on that big international stage, showing up in Academy. I honestly thought that he would be, somewhere of like a mid-tier jungler in our league. We have some really strong jungle talents. I'm still need more tape to see where I'd put Kevy, but it's been a promising look for the first few games as CLG did go 5-1 last week. They were on a hot streak.
All right. Well, they're up against 100 Thieves Academy, obviously a team that's towards the top of the standings right now. So now let's start talking about this team. And I'm hearing the pick and ban is starting to get underway, so we'll have to speed through here a little bit faster, starting with the conversation about Busio. Let's just have an open conversation about this player, Cubby, because this is somebody that you've been very hot on coming into Spring Split, where he was kind of in his rookie split, and now we get to see him in his second split, still rookie year.
I feel like I always am asked to, why am I so excited about Busio? It's like a running joke at this point, but also, like, it's hard not to be excited about this guy because what we've seen from him early in his career, just the raw mechanics that he brings to this role. I mean, watch him play Yasuo in this clip. This is something that no other support in Academy can do. And when I see players like this that are so young, so promising, then also have the intangibles to really step up and be a leader for their teams moving forward, that's just why I'm just on the Busio hype train. There's no getting off for me at this point. I really feel like he is ready to start LCS starting next year and will step up and will be someone who is not just good in the LCS, but I feel like is someone that can literally bring home LCS MVPs. And I think for Busio, starting off here, I just want to see him continue to make strides with how he plays with his team and controls his team. Because 100 Thieves, they need to do more in mid games, and that is off of Busio stepping up as a leader. I want to see more of that from 100 Thieves.
And now let's bring the conversation to another member of 100 Thieves Academy that we want to highlight here. Rafa, I'll let you take this one because Tenacity up in the top lane. While Busio, very young player, new to the role that he's in. Tenacity is a player that we have come to know, and many of us come to love and hope that he does get more opportunities in the LCS.
Tenacity, this is very, cathartic that he is taking down an Ornn after being forced onto Ornn duty so many times during his 100 Thieves next days, and for, Papa Smithy, the meme of the Ornn McNuggets being fed into him. But Tenacity is clearly the best top laner in Academy. He was ready for LCS last year after 2021, and he's still ready right now. The thing that Tenacity has been trying to demonstrate is, what else more do I need to prove that, like, a team should be able to replace one of their current LCS top laners with me right now? And Tenacity has stated in multiple interviews that, like, at this point, I'm just kind of picking for fun right now, but as we're winding down the summer split and as 100 Thieves are trying to not only lock down their dominant standings in the current Academy roster at the moment, but also what can they do as a team? How can Tenacity step up as someone who has experience and already has what it takes to come to LCS? It's like, okay, how can I assist the rest of my team to make sure that we don't drop games to, I don't know, TSM Academy last week when they were in the lead and then it takes one fight and they lose the game?
100 Thieves have a lot to be excited about. As an organization, as a young roster here in Academy, like Cubby said, nobody is in their 20s on this roster. It's just a bunch of teenagers playing together, and that means that they potentially have a lot of room to grow continuing on in their careers. With that said, though, I'm hearing the pick and ban is ready. So we're going to send it back into pick and ban for game number 1 of CLG versus 100 Thieves.
I had to get my pen. I dropped it. Sorry.
I thought you were like dodging the toss from Kangas.
No,
I was like,
I was doing that too. But
yeah, honestly, you looked like me whenever I'm walking in front of a Sova ulti in Valorant, and I'm just like casually dodging it. I don't know if you've ever played. Anyway, that bit didn't land. 100 Thieves Academy taking on CLG Academy. We're rolling with the punches here. I want to bring back the conversation though of how dominant Tenacity has been in this league and how he is playing a cut above almost everyone else. But what is the conversation about what Tenacity has to do in order to demand change from the other LCS teams in the league?
Nothing, man. If this guy, the form that he's in, if he plays in LCS tomorrow, he's a top 5 top laner in the league. There's no doubt in my mind that's the case. So I think the only thing that Tenacity can do is continue his form and continue to be consistent in the top lane. As whoa, okay, I do want to get into this pick ban, Rafa. As first pick is here. We are on 12-13. Corki did see some nerfs. First pick is here. I gotta say, this is a weird one for me, and I'm really curious to see what the answer is. Do we still have a Corki considered? Because I'm ready to talk about Corki builds on this patch if we do see one.
Might be the Yone. Now, it is technically a flex. It could be both for Triple or for Jenkins, but we have seen commonly a Yone answer in response to the Azir. And unless we see an Azir flex, I think we're pretty certain that the Azir should be going mid lane.
expecting that for Jimmian, who, of course, is... I feel like Jimmian is still a player that I want to see more of when it comes to his mage play. If he is on the Silas, Akali, LeBlanc, the Assassins, the Melees, Jimmian will carry the game. This guy is filthy when it comes to melee champions. Mage play has a lot to be desired. And so, that first pick is here. I'm really curious to see how Jimmian performs as he's being thrown in the counter matchup. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. But hey, I'm looking forward to seeing if Jimmian is up to the task as Will locks down Wukong. Wukong did see some nerfs on the past patch, 12.12b. But it is important to note, Will is 8-0 on Wukong this split. He has been really good in the team fights on this champion, and it might be time for us to talk about that brand new Sivir Rafa. I did tease it in the 12-13 segment. Sivir saw some adjustments, some changes. Oh, not quite yet. Okay, she's gonna be Ashe.
Now, normally we would expect this to be a marksman Ashe or a bot lane Ashe for BMFX, but we have seen
Flux
Ashe,
potential.
Ashe support popping up. And I didn't know if it was just like a solo queue cheese pick or if it's something to actually be desired for pro play. I do like this Diana, though, for Kevy. Notice here, Cubby, there's not a ban for Evelynn at all. And Kevy did not instantly go for it. Just went for the safer blind pick.
Eve's not in a great spot right now. That's why I did see buffs on this patch. And Kevy just opting for the Diana. We'll see if it's the Bruiser build or if it is the straight magic damage build with the Proto Belt and the Zanyas. But it will be the magic damage jungler for Kevy. It is very good into Wukong, as especially if you go for the Bruiser build, you can pretty much just out-tank it, out-damage it over time once you get to that 2-item spike where the Sunfire plus the Nashor's Tooth makes you an incredibly strong duelist as the Diana.
It's just a lot of damage stacked up over time. Not the same burst pattern that we've seen in Diana's from before. But for 100 Thieves Academy, they're trying to whittle down options for Jenkins in the top lane. That's why we see the Gwen already taken off the board. Also response with the Fiora ban and the Kayle ban as well. I know Tenacity had a lot of fun on the Kayle this past split. I
want to see 100 Thieves ban GP, as that Kayle ban tells me that Jenkins is going for GP. Also, Fiora, that is one of the better matchups in the Yone, but also one of Tenacity's best champions. He's 4-1, and it is his most played. There's the GP ban that I was asking for. Kayle tells me that GP was going to be a consideration for Jenkins. It is one of his most comfortable blinds. I expect now that Jenkins goes for something like the Gnar, as Gnar is a champion that's actually not in the pool of Tenacity, and it's been one that Jenkins is very strong on. Absolutely demolished IMT with the Gnar in the 2 Gnar versus Sejuani matchups. And I'm curious now, with Sejuani locked in, what is the top lane pick here for Tenacity? As we are seeing BMFX hover some marksmen, this could easily be a Twitch, and it could be support Ashe. Would not be surprised, but it is tough to take support Ashe blind. That is a challenge for Busio, if that ends up being the call for 100 Thieves.
Aww.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
I was about to ask you, like, hey, what's Pusio's like champ pool now? Like, how many champions he's played across the split?
It's nice. He did miss out on the first week, but we're at 7, 8, 9. We're at 10 uniques, including a game where you want Legendary and Yasuo. Go back and check that one out, please. Yeah. This guy's nasty. As Tenacity, choice counter pick. He doesn't have Gnar in his pool, so that means we're gonna see something else. And I like Olaf this game. I mean, Yone, Diana, Sejuani all have to jump in. Olaf did see some changes on this patch I'll go over as we get into the game. But I feel like it's a good pick for Tenacity. Very good in the lane matchup and can play into the Diana, where if you get ahead, you will 1v2 that lane.
The other thing, too, that, I mean, the whole vibe and the whole, like, identity for Jenkins on the Sejuani is that I have all the CC that I can offer to my jungler.
Janna.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So Breezy, his namesake, it's not for being a Janna player. Breezy is actually known to be an Alistar, but I gotta say, I like Janna here. I know that FlyQuest had been using Janna plus Aphelios early in the season as a combo. Janna did see some nerfs since then, but if you look at what 100 Thieves wants to do, if you're able to shut down Azir or Wukong from engaging with the comp you have as CLG, protect Aphelios in that backline, Aphelios can shred everyone else on the side of 100 Thieves. So I think it's really important this game that Tenacity just gets out of control huge. If he's able to run the entire top side of the map, allow for 100 Thieves to collapse on the bot side, I think that's how 100 Thieves can run away with this. Besides that, though, for CLG, It is a Sejuani top. You can set up for Diana up there, and it's also Diana Yone mid. So I think it's very solo lane focused, very much about the Janna lane being self-sufficient. And it is one of the better matchups into Banana. You can survive that lane, and you do outscale throughout the game. So really like that lock-in from Breezy, who I know you talked a lot about Meech having a great split. This has been the best split of Academy I've seen out of Breezy as well. He's been very, very good, especially on the engagers.
Yeah.
Good opportunity to step up on an Enchantress this game in Jan.
And I think it's good for Breezy to show that even when a new marksman comes into the role, he was working with Prismal for the entire spring split, someone who has a lot of experience. And so a lot of times either supports or marksmen will sometimes fall into the trap of getting exposed once their longtime veteran duo partner leaves, and it's like, okay, now it's on you to mentor the new player. But Breezy, fantastic job so far, even now with the absence of Prismal, as he's now a support over on Golden Guardians Academy. But for us, we're getting ready for our second series of the day. 100 Thieves Academy looking to solidify themselves as the number 2, whereas CLG Academy want to break out of the top 4. We'll see what happens in this game 1.
Early game, really want to see if Kevy ends up pathing bot to top at all. So one thing I really like about Sejuani is the fact that you can utilize Sejuani to snowball your jungler ahead. Stacking up that permafrost passive makes the top lane 2v2s, 2v1s very, very powerful for the team that has Sejuani, as well as being that late game tank insurance. And I think a lot of teams just kind of pick Sejuani for the secondary have not taken advantage of the first part of that, which is she is an outstanding skirmisher and duelist in the early stages of the game when you have another melee champion going up top. So I really want to see if Kevy ends up utilizing that in this early game.
And you've got 2 other melee champions, not just in Kevy, but also in triples. So anytime you go for 3v3 skirmishes in the river, you can play off of both of your jungler and your mid laner to get the permafrost stacks up onto those members for 100 Thieves. And even though Tenacity can completely remove Jenkins' utility once he pops the Ragnarok, that only happens at level 6. So early on, there is playmaking potential for CLG in those 3v3s or 2v2s. As now, they're poking around. Tenacity is going to get some information, but he can't step too far forward. Sees that both Kevy and Triple are here. The fact that Triple is starting out not necessarily in lane, giving up CS farm just so that Kevy can get farm back on the camp.
I really like the start from Kevy. That's really smart. If you're going to get invaded upon, just take Raptors, get level 2, and force Will out. So now it's a delayed start for Will. He has no leash as well. Really smart play by Kevy.
Good stuff here for Triple. Just, I mean, might not always be the most enjoyable thing to lose a wave of CS, but Triple, I think he only missed half of the first wave. So he's down slightly in XP, but if it ensures that Kevy, who is something that CLG really invested in bringing over from the LCO, the Oceanic region, and making sure that he is set up for success, this is the way to do it.
I'm somewhat surprised that Kevy did skip over the Krugs, but being delayed for the start, usually we just see Diana go full clear, because she can full clear and be in time, or at Crab in time, but not going for the Krugs there. Will mean that Kevy will be potentially a bit early to that bot Crab, but Will, you can see how far behind Will is as Kevy is about to pull Gromp plus Blue, and Will just finished his Wolf. So Kevy is a full camp ahead and change in this 1v1 jungle matchup in terms of clear, and will be bot Crab most likely going over to Kevy.
He's leashing the blue in a way that has him piloting over towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, he's not going for bot Crab. My bad. Lane prio, very much in favor for 100 Thieves, both mid and bot. So I think Kevy's making the right move, heading over to the top Crab. As we'll see if 100 Thieves reads this and tries to make a counter, because Tenacity did crash that top wave in full against the Sejuani. And if him and Jimmy did move down, they could really be a pain in the rear end of Kevy. But does not seem to be the case.
Will be the
Crab taken, and Tenacity's got to be careful.
Either good communication from Will or just good sense from Tenacity, knowing that, hey, Will's on the bottom side of the map. If Kevy's going to be anywhere, it's got to be on the top side.
Yeah, I think once that Vision Plant was hit by Will, that's when I'd expect Will to be like, hey, You know, he's not on bot crab, he's on top. Tenacity respecting that. Some good comms coming out of our young jungler, pairing up with Tenacity here, as will be Kevy cleaning up those Krugs, and also can return to that early respawn Raptor camp, as he did start out with taking that to deny the invade. So Kevy off to the races early, surviving the first clear. Very good for the Diana.
Yeah, so let's revisit what we were talking about at the beginning of the series here for 100 Thieves and CLG. Kevy, being the big investment piece that CLG bringing over from Oceania, has to make plays. For 100 Thieves, Tenacity was one of the big players that we had to look at, and already Kevy identifies that, playing off of the CC potential with Jenkins' Sejuani, secures first blood for CLG Academy.
Yeah, rotates back. That's Ignite. There's no flash on Tenacity. Easy peasy here. And this is what I wanted to see with the Sejuani. Play through the melee character on the top side. Utilize the power of the permafrost when you have a melee jungler. Because Sejuani, it's not like you are just this big meatball late. You can be very powerful early in the skirmishes. Jenkins, CLG taking full advantage of that as our second strongest early game team in Academy comes up with a good early game plan and finds the early play against 100 Thieves.
And even though Tenacity does see Kevy early, because he's not running Flash, he's running Ghost, it's a little too late for him to be able to react appropriately. Jenkins lands the entire CC lockdown. And now that's a little bit of gold over into the pockets of both Jenkins and Kevy. And with Summoner spells down, this is a situation where Kevy could easily make a return trip towards the top side of the map.
And curiously enough, Kevy, so we've been teasing some different Diana builds. It will be a Dark Seal plus a recurve bow start. So it looks like it's going to be Nashor's Tooth Rush for Kevy's Diana. That's very much focused on the clear speed and the 1v1 skirmishing. It makes you a lot weaker in team fights. I must say, this isn't my favorite start to the Diana build, but we'll see if Kevy can utilize it to get himself just enormously far ahead on the map and make it so that 100 Thieves, a team that I feel like gets a little bit outscaled this game, if Tenacity doesn't take off early. I think if Kevy is able to get super far ahead early and stat check them, it could be the right move here for CLG.
The copium angle is that Kevy with the recurve bow can stack up permafrost faster. That's all I get.
Potentially is Kevy.
I mean, good stuff
Will's
from
waiting
Will,
for a
though.
smite. Yeah, Kevy was able to get in there and smite, but Tenacity has 6. This is the strength of Olaf. I think this 2v2, now that Tenacity does have access to that level 6, should go in favor of 100 Thieves if there were one to occur.
And so this is good stuff from Will and Tenacity working together. Yes, didn't Tenacity give a first blood in early parts of the game, but they are able to reassure and understand that, hey, Kevy's probably going to look for a repeat gank on me on the top side soon, so I'm going to push out this huge wave. I need you to cover me. I need you to back me up in case Diana shows up once again, because Will's there. He thwarts Kevy, and Kevy can't obviously stay there for too long, otherwise he's going to lose tempo on the advantage he already had on Will, so now he has to path towards the bottom side of the map.
And the good news for 100 Thieves is that, you know, despite Tenacity going down early, look at that CS differential on the top side. That is very much in favor of Tenacity, has taken advantage of the counter matchup. Good stuff coming out of Milan, as that's going to be important as we are getting closer and closer to Rift Herald spawning, and see Tenacity utilizing the priority that he has in the lane to already get control over this topside river. The CFCLG opts to fight them, as if they're able to dogpile effectively, could be a winning angle, but is risky jumping into Olaf at this stage of the game.
Yeah, he even has so many wards on the top side of the map, like one in the river with the Scuttle Crab, and then 2 covering the river entrance as well as the Tri-Bush entrance. But Kevy sees a window to take out the dragon. I think 100 Thieves have no idea whatsoever. It gets snuck under the nose.
Lucio trading flash for flash with Janna. I will say I think that's a trade up for 100 Thieves, as he was looking to set up a play with Will. Does not find it. And now it's going to be all about the Rift Herald for 100 Thieves, as Will has reset on this wave. You can see Tenacity just crashed another wave top. He will reset and get a good buy as he is rushing towards what is likely to be a Trinity Force or a Stride Breaker, as I believe it will be the Triforce here for Tenacity. But this means that it's all about the first Rift Herald for 100 Thieves. I think it's very important they're able to connect with this, utilize the strength of Olaf now that he has access to that ultimate.
Kevy has not gotten a recent back in after this second rotation of camps. So Will and Tenacity are going to be slightly stronger in the 2v2. And now with the Ragnarok in hand, you can cancel out all the CC that Jenkins and Kevy would throw their way. Jenkins has an opportunity, though, to get some visual control. They spot out Will. All of his camps are gone. So and it looks like if Will, unless he gives up... Okay, he definitely wants to contest this. This would be a potential 3-on-3. Both of the bot laners are back.
So Triple just made a play for the bot crab. And that means that he lost complete prio on the mid wave. So because Tenacity has shove top, and because Triple hovered bot to take that crab, that just means this Rift Herald's going over for free to CLG. I gotta say, I think given the strength of 100 Thieves champions at the moment, this is the right call from CLG. But if Triple was contesting that mid wave and continued to harass the Azir, it would have been an angle or a look where they could have looked to contest. So by going for that bot crab by himself, Triple did give away that window where they could have looked to contest the Rift.
Ooh. Oh, slick. I see you, Triple. It doesn't net an actual, like, 1v1 kill, but, you know, being able to interrupt Jimmy in on the shifting sands. Jenkins is spotted on a ward, so I love this roam timer. Unfortunately, he's not going to get anything out of it. Right?
He's still looking, right? Right? He's here for the long haul. Bucio's here on the hover. They know top's missing.
Yeah, Jimmy and... Oh, good
nice.
knock-up combo. Oh, man. CLG. 100 Thieves, they knew it was coming, but the crowd control layer from Triple and Jenkins was window perfect.
And Jenkins, this is a losing lane matchup, but honestly a great play from Jenkins, because the one wave where he's able to crash it into Tenacity, he makes a play for the Yone. That's really big coming out of the Sejuani. Really good map movements from Jenkins, who making the most out of the Sejuani pick, and some of the playmaking you have access to as well. Good to see.
At least for Tenacity, he's getting a larger CS lead on this guy. But I feel like if Jenkins continuously supports the rest of the map, and Tenacity isn't able to find further advantages just time alone in the top side of the map, and 100 Thieves are going to be facing an issue where CLG are facing very on par in terms of the mid game.
And I think the good news for CLG is Yone will be a very good side lane matchup into Azir once we shift into the long lanes. My concern, though, is that both Yone and Sejuani, for the majority of the game, should get slammed by Olaf. And Tenacity is very far ahead.
Yeah.
So, oh, wait, hold on.
Let's see, he's going to look for it. Fate Sealed is still on cooldown, but man, he is chunking out Jimmy. And he just teleported back to this lane. Gonna have to leave.
Taking advantage of the matchup as Bucio. You get rooted. Kevy's here.
Gravitum gun from Meech. Locks him down.
Yeah.
Almost the layering for the tornado, but it at least gets the hostile takeover from Bucio. And CLG now know they have an ultimate to work around.
Yeah, just cut out in the rotation back to lane. Nice play from CLG to force at least something out inside 100 Thieves. It's 100 Thieves yet to make a play. It's been them winning out on some of the lanes they've drafted. As Jimmy in.
Oh, a triple is going to have to go back. Almost gets enough damage down onto Jimmy, and the minions are not going to do enough. But here comes Will, waiting patiently for his moment where CLG thought they were safe. Will is able to fire back, double cast of the Cyclone, takes out Triple, forces Kevy to flash.
We did tease that Will's Wukong is 8-0 so far this split, and I love how he's waiting. You know, he knows that Triple is going to try and be aggressive, picks his moment, picks a spot. Will is now so big this game, Rafa. Finds a kill, finds 4 plates to himself in the mid lane. Will is going to be a big difference maker after he's able to get back to base, see how much he can put on top of that Sunder. As Will doesn't have an ult, but keep in mind, Breezy actually does have access to that flash hit again. Bucio, he's going to look.
No hostile takeover. They dodge out of the arrow. Meech still has flash in case if he needs it. Breezy flashes away. Has Monsoon available by some time, but it's the damage repetitively from BMFX that answers back. A heal is used, though, after Meech using the Moonlight Vigil. Gets a chunk of his health bar in response, but BMFX still alive, and the rest of 100 Thieves maintain the numbers advantage.
Still love the play and love the call from Bucio and 100 Thieves. Just go in, utilize the fact you have a numbers advantage on the map. As that connects, Dragon's being started. This Tenacity and Jenkins brawling it out on the top side, but looking bot. It looks like because they were up a member, 100 Thieves were able to force it out, take the dragon.
One more reckless
Tenacity.
swing. Oh, man.
Oof.
That's tough for Jenkins. And a good solo kill for Tenacity, being able to show why this counter pick is working out so well.
Tenacity won't play around with that top wave, but 100 Thieves, just like that, this young team, Rafa. Uh-oh, hold on. Get me in.
Oh, good God. Hey, he still has flash. Good, good stuff, Jimmy. Nice numbers divide and the shifting stance. He didn't even have to use flash, Cubby.
The crown helped a bit. I'd say that was a nice investment there, as the crown gets shattered, but it does save Jimmy from having to take a break in the gray screen. As what I was getting to beforehand, Rafa, just like that, 100 Thieves just take off in the early game. And something that I really want to see from 100 Thieves is I feel like they've had good early games. They're able to win fights just because of their raw mechanics. But this is a team that I feel like hasn't done much in mid games. I think their mid games have been very quiet. Usually they just try and play out, you know, either 2 or 3 lanes, depending on what their comp is, but they're not proactively looking for plays and looking for ways to snowball across the map. Against the better teams we have in Academy, that has to change. And I really want to see if this game, 100 Thieves can utilize some of the tools they have to snowball. Because you have Wukong Cyclone. You have ECA from Ash. You have ways to force fights. Let's see if 100 Thieves can, you know, group up as a team and find the right ways to use those to keep on snowballing this one forward.
And it's what separates them from being able to consistently be better than a team like Team Liquid, right? Where maybe across the board you can say that all these players match up mechanically, individually to the members of Team Liquid Academy, but when it comes to the decision-making, the confidence and just the lack of hesitation from the side of Team Liquid, they know as soon as they have a lead, they know how to make the game plans. They know how to execute them without any time wasted. 100 Thieves still lacking in that department, but that is a trade-off that happens when you get a bunch of players all under the age of 20 who are still, you know, trying to figure out how to play the game at the highest level.
There is no General Armeo or, you know, Lieutenant Ayla. It's, yeah, you're kind of still trying to figure out, you know, who the leaders are on this team. We know that Busio is someone that's very vocal and comms, but it just feels like 100 Thieves have not been able to put together like mid-game plans that we would like to see from them. As Busio, at the moment, trying to rotate back to help BMFX on the bot side, not able to get there in time, as this is the response to the Rift Herald. CLG trying to cut off 100 Thieves is
Good
nice
solo
from
bound
Triple.
from Triple, yeah. Dodging out on the
It's still
ECA.
mid-turret, but Jenkins is here. So we could see a play if Jenkins wants to force. Tenacity does not have the TP to join. As CLG, they don't pull the trigger. That's an Azir turret spawn, so the push continues for 100 Thieves, and they're looking to get 2 turrets. This is a good mid-game play from them. Love to see it.
Yeah, 100 Thieves don't even care about the fact that Meech is farming up the turret on the bottom side of the map. They are pushing the tempo here. Tenacity is farming up on the top side of the map, so if they need to ever ditch to a part of the map, it is towards the top lane. Tenacity has already pushed out the wave. They can safely take camps away from Kevy on the way out. And now they have completely opened up the mid lane, which gives them greater access into the jungle quadrants, which is needed for setting up those mid-game plays in the first place.
I like this play from 100 Thieves. With that said, Meech is now very big.
Oh, God.
And Tenacity does not like this.
He ghosted.
That is a ghosting Olaf.
Getting ready to pop the Ragnarok.
He
Can he
still
just
wins.
completely solo it out? Oh, the kiting.
Oh!
Okay. Tenacity goes for the flip, tries to take out Meech. Did not expect Kevy to be there. Still thought that he could win out the 1v2, but Meech with the great kiting and a flash stays alive.
I mean, was it a flip? I feel like he was going to win that one. Burned a lot of tools from CLG, but it was too much for Tenacity. Just one auto away from cutting through Meech, but Meech stays alive. That's real big, as Meech has gotten very fed in the last couple of minutes here, Rafa.
Maybe in this moment, it's not a flip. As soon as the Diana comes out, it's like, oh, I guess I have to trade at least, because I'm going down either way. But man.
Oh, man. The flash, so good. I got to say, one thing we talked about a lot with Meech, we have yet to see him lose a 50-50 reaction time. This guy's reaction time is, I think, the single best in the league. If you go back, watch any Meech VODs, any flash, any arcane shift, any dash, any cleanse, he is pixel perfect at when he's flashing out. Flashed out exactly at the right time there to make sure that no auto attack can connect from Tenacity. Really good to see from our young rookie marksman. As just because Tenacity was slowed down to the bot lane doesn't mean that he's still not going to take off in the side lane this game. All eyes on him, as he is still shredding CLG in this top lane.
And at least when it comes to the projected solo lane matchup, whether he is side laning against Triple or Jenkins, we should expect him to be the one dominating the 1v1 there. But CLG, well knowing that, saying, okay, Tenacity, we're not going to let you have a 1v1. We're going to gang up on you. We're going to send
3.
Yep. Not even 2. 3. They need 3 just to make sure that Tenacity does not get off the ground here.
Tenacity says, all right, we get Dragon, as CLG going to give that over. Have cut into the gold lead a little bit, only 2k, as we're transitioning towards the 20-minute mark of this game. For me, all eyes are on Meech, and if Triple can land a big Fate Seal. Whereas I think on the side of 100 Thieves, if Will is able to snowball this game forward, I think that's really big, very important. As whichever lane that Will goes towards is going to be the lane that I think 100 Thieves are looking to make the play. Will is still very fed at this point of the game, has the chance to turn the tides. Is at the moment, 100 Thieves are trying to play out 3 lanes, but I think it's best when they're trying to play out the 4-1, just let Tenacity do his work in the side lane. You can look to make plays on the 3-4 CLG if you have Azir mid. So I want to see if Jimmy can shove out a side lane and then group with his team, and 100 Thieves can use that window to try and make plays.
Even if you're not getting a pick, you can at least look for vision control in anticipation of the bigger objectives. Now that Baron is up on the table at the 20-minute mark, let's see if 100 Thieves do exactly what you have requested from them. Push out side waves here. Get ready. Push further into the jungle. If you find a straggler from CLG who is not in position, pick them off. You have the tools. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Cyclone. And then 100 Thieves can move slowly into forcing Baron and then make CLG walk into them, because they still are 3,000 gold ahead. And if they find on proper battle lines, 100 Thieves, they're favored.
I know we talked about builds earlier, Rafa. It will be the Bruiser build for Kevy.
Yep.
After the Nashers. Did figure that would be the case, but again, this build is very strong in pumping out DPS in elongated team fights. So I think some importance of CLG, or 400 Thieves, to shut down the Diana early, as Will's the big part, as it's a very melee-heavy team from CLG, and that Cyclone, with how far ahead Will is, and just given the raw strength of that ability against melees, that's going to be very important, those 2 casts of the ultimate, that he's able to pump out a lot of damage and buy time, buy space for this Azir and Ashe team fight.
I almost wonder for 100 Thieves as well, do they trust in BMFX being able to out DPS Meech when it comes to front to back? Because we've seen Aphelios in these situations just completely take over. And so does that mean 100 Thieves, do they want to go for flanks? Like, force the Baron, bait CLG into choke points, and then go and just dive Meech in the back line?
Oh, that's one. Triple actually going to respect that. Burn his ultimate. That's a tool taken away. Returning to your last point, Rafa. I think 400 Thieves, I actually do favor front to back. Oh boy, Meech. That's a big arrow.
You know what, Cubby? Woo. Who needs to fight a proper 5-5? Just run and walk into a marksman for free. Say, okay, well, I'm melee range with you. Let's just go. Cyclone and Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Both of our pick tools already used, but you've taken out the big dog in Meech for CLG Academy. And there's a situation where 100 Thieves, they can start the Baron. They can force CLG to walk into them and look for more kills.
They've yet to take that Blast Cone, but they're trying to lay a trap. CLG were able to spot it. So it looks like 100 Thieves just going to take the pick, not start the Baron. But it was a beautiful ECA coming out of BMFX to connect on the Meech. He does have a cleanse. There is a Mikhail's in the pockets of Breezy, and honestly, that's a big one. I think Breezy rushing a Mikhail's here, that really surprises me. Because, something like Moonstone or Shirelia's, these support mythics are so powerful for, all the enchantments that we have. The fact that they're down that can't match the Shirelia's of Bucio's Renata, that's a big disadvantage for CLG in the team fights, even if they are utilizing Mikhail's to get rid of the picks. Didn't matter. Meech still goes down. CLG drop more control on the map, and we'll see if 100 Thieves can now push themselves to Soul Point, as we've been talking about that Baron, but Dragon's up in 50 seconds here.
If 100 Thieves netted it, they would be at Soul Point. Another win condition they can play off of and force CLG to play to their tempo. Once you're on the back foot and once you're playing against a team that is ready to take Soul, you have to answer them whenever they look to go for the final dragon piece. And CLG making sure that they respect the vision control.
And look at Tenacity. Look at how far he's pushed up that bot lane. As CLG, they're going to lose those resources. And 100 Thieves, they now have mid push. They've effectively gotten CLG cornered in their jungle. We'll see if CLG can even really contest this. As they're engaged, it's going to be that Glacial Prison from Sejuani. But we're 5 seconds out. They're forced to answer now. They're showing. 100 Thieves, they don't see him yet. CLG will sneak into the bot side. It's Tenacity.
Blue jungle entrance is the only way that they can get through the choke point. 100 Thieves don't really have any way of forcing them out of it. Triple and Breezy still on the back end. They haven't gotten in. Meech, Kevy, and Jenkins are already on the other side, but 100 Thieves, the only thing they're pressuring is the mid wave at the moment, and Jimmian, he's about to crash a huge wave into the inhibitor tower, but he's being called on by 100 Thieves. Tenacity looking for this flank.
Love the patience from 100 Thieves, just dying resources, keeping CLG here. That arrow goes very wide from BMFX, threw it into the choke point. I gotta say, throwing it down the river probably had better odds, and instead it's a field goal. Throwing it along that terrain. And now,
return to
100
mid
Thieves.
lane.
It looks like they're just going to drop it. They're going to go for the objective as Busio. That's a mini flash, but he dodges out of the stun.
Busio giving the angry beam out. CLG do get the dragon, but at what cost? They're about to drop the inhibitor tower. Maybe more, but Triple is able to bypass through the defenses of 100 Thieves on the way to the inhibitor. But now it's an exposed base here, Cubby.
And they stalled so much that all the camps came up back on the map. So 100 Thieves, they take away the red buff of CLG. They're trying to sneak away the Raptors. I don't think they have time. BMFX just going to take some of the little chicken nuggets. It's like when, you order... It's like if we ordered shared food, Rafa, and I just stole all the mini ones from you. Which... Yeah. Well, no. First I say, you know what? I'm not that hungry. And then I take all the small ones from you.
That's even worse. You baited me.
Feels bad, man. That's what friends are for. Stealing mini chicken nuggets.
See, that is a path of friendship. First, you start out, you're like, okay, I'm going to be like on my best behavior. I'll be super nice, or I'll just kind of be chill. But then as you get to know each other more, you're like, all right, I don't care about making an impression anymore.
Your food is my food.
Yep. Time to be little gremlins and rats to each other. 26 minutes into the game, 100 Thieves still maintaining momentum and tempo on the map. 3,000 gold ahead. Their mid-game plans have been better than last week, I say, for the most part, but CLG still doing a decent job of keeping themselves in this game.
Are they going to start it? If they start it here, it's good. All of CLG just reset. That's one. They don't have. They had pretty good wave setup. They are going to get a trinket out because of that. If they just slammed it there, I think they could have burned Baron. 100 to 0. Will not be the case though, as 100 Thieves played out a little bit slow.
Do they want to make a play in the mid lane instead?
Maybe. CLG, they're hugging the bot side as they just saw all of them pop. Oh! Good arrow.
Crystal arrow. Does he need to use the Mikhail's Crucibles? He uses it. Flash out of the as well. Tenacity just completely zoning off the back line there. Hostile takeover prevents the back line of CLG from being able to re-engage into the fight. Both Busio and Tenacity single-handedly taking out CLG's Meech and Breezy Co. from being able to get in. And now with Kevy and Triple as the sacrifices for that fight, 100 Thieves start off the Baron.
That was a 5-man hostile takeover from Busio as Tenacity kept him busy on the back line. Busio's hostile takeover made sure the 100 Thieves could shred everyone. It's now Meech. He's down Summoner Spell, so they're going to look.
Oh, Breezy. Forced to use the Monsoon. Meech doesn't have flash anymore. They're trading damage. Oh my god. Tenacity's pumping out so much. And Meech has been backed into a corner. He's popped out the red gun, but he cannot sustain himself through that Viking encounter. Will looking for... Oh, okay. Double flash for Breezy. Will might have another Nimbus strike in a couple seconds. Down goes Janna. And for CLG Academy, man, oh man. Suddenly, Cubby, it went from 3,000 to 7,000 gold in favor of 100 Thieves.
And it was all off of 100 Thieves, how they played the front-to-back team fight, Rafa. Their tools were used so well in that fight, especially Busio. If we can get a replay of that one from our team, I would love to take another look as hostile takeover connected with everyone and made sure the 100 Thieves is able to take over this game in their favor.
Your wish is granted, Cubby. Take us through the fight.
So Meech flashes, it connects. He saves, he doesn't have the cleanse, but he saves the Mikhails until that connects. At least it's those from Olaf. So Tenacity's zoning off the backline. So it's Kevy and Yone going in alone, but hostile takeover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're able to connect with everyone. CLG has no follow-up. Meech has no recompense because he's just kept in the back. There's nothing he can do. Tenacity's Olaf just runs through Meech in the first part of the fight and then finishes the job in the second part.
You know, it's so crazy that we were looking at that setup for the play, and you were calling for 100 Thieves. If you just start the Baron right now, this is good. You could burn down. There's no answer contest from CLG. But they waited because the real play they wanted to do was for blood, Cubby. They didn't want to just go for the objective steal. They wanted for CLG to overextend so that Tenacity could just run them all down.
100 Thieves playing for team fights, not pure macro OBJ. Who would have thought? Never would have seen that one coming. As the Zoom squad, that's their specialty, man. Their hands are pretty damn good. It's given a lot of teams issues in Academy as these young guns keep on pushing towards the top of the standings, trying to return to that Proving Grounds finals where about half this roster fell short last split, hoping that this split, that's not the case. 100 Thieves look poised to take their third dragon of the game, playing this Baron buff out a little bit slowly, but again, not giving CLG any windows to come back, and CLG, really besides that first blood they got in the top side, feels like they haven't been able to do anything proactive in this game run.
Damn shame for CLG Academy. You have Glacial Prison, you have Moonfall, and Fate Sealed. All of these tools that can start off the fights, but it has now become a concern about how do we protect Meech into the backline, because he is now a big portion of the damage. He is a major reason where CLG Academy can actually live and turn around these fights. And if CLG Academy aren't able to protect Meech or prevent Tenacity from completely zoning him off, which gets pretty damn difficult in just thanks to Olaf things with Ragnarok, then I don't know what CLG Academy can hope to do except to look for picks in the side lanes.
Good hover by Will as they're pushed out mid, want to go hover their weak side lane. They know they can leave Tenacity on his lonesome. As that sweeper will not spot CLG initially, but does now. We'll see if BMFX decides to fire off an ECA. Could go fishing. As
oh, you called it.
Oh, very close on to Kevy, but Kevy slides north instead of going down under to try and dodge that one. He's in North America now, so you know he's got his dodges right. So I'm gonna reason that one out.
I hate that. That was good though.
Whenever I can get you to laugh, we're going very deep into our relationship here in this cast, Rafa. So we talked about sharing food, now making each other laugh.
Now we can also enjoy what could be the last team fight of this game. 100 Thieves, 10,000 gold. This game is all but theirs, but Meech has some other words to say about it, forcing Jimmy back. Glacial Prison does not connect. The Slow Field and the Fate Sealed all don't really get that much out of 100 Thieves, apart from a couple of stopwatch being used by both BMFX and Will. But meanwhile, Tenacity is bringing a horde of minions on the bottom side of the map and ready to take out the inhibitor tower.
He was hovering, but not anymore, as Jimmy has actually been topped off again after that TP back. Still pumping out the damage, and Tenacity triple jumps onto him, and Tenacity literally does not care. He is spect armor and armor shred, which unless you're Diana, that's tough. And Tenacity is sitting at 383 CS, Rafa, at the 33-minute mark, doing his best marksman impression. As, again, this is a top laner that we feel like if he played in LCS tomorrow, he'd be top 5. And until then, he's just going to be monstering people in Academy. As he is Flame Horizon Jenkins.
Production, is it possible? It probably won't happen this game, but can we, like, by the time we close out the Academy season, I want to get a montage of Cubby just saying that's tough in games. Like, just put an instrumental, like, backtrack to it. Oh, but Kevy, Kevy wants to go
LCS.
down with at least one more fight, a miracle play that could be had for CLG. But
nice
all
flash.
their engage tools are being whipped here.
Busio.
And the respawn
Oh,
from
wait,
100
Meech.
Thieves is so
Meech?
massive. Meech already takes out a couple in the back
Meech?
line, but can he turn him back around to Will? And it's Jimmy still looking to put down the damage. Flashing forward, Meech is eviscerated. A triple kill for Jimmy, and you asked for it, Cubby. Can Jimmy play mages a quadra kill? That's a pretty damn good way to start off the week 6 here.
Man, Meech almost saved that fight for CLG, but it was just not enough as Busio, the hostile takeover flash, hit 4, stopped CLG in its tracks. Meech was the only one who dodged out. He tried to get everything done that he could with Breezy peeling, but man, not enough. 100 Thieves overtook CLG. It was an improved mid-game, Rafa, an improved game plan, and this young team, anytime they can show signs of improved macro, taking steps forward with how they're going to play the map and guarantee wins and advantages for themselves, we get excited. Got to see that against good competition in CLG in this game.
Yeah, it's not like 100 Thieves were playing a bottom of the Academy standings team and flexing mid-game decisions or picks. They made their own decisions, and I think the coolest thing is that it wasn't plays that either of us thought of or suggested or what we would see from other top teams. It was what 100 Thieves love to do. It is finding moments where CLG are overextending, waiting for them to get to an unsafe part of the map, no man's territory, and then they all just press the go button and they clean up a bunch of kills to flex it as well.
Yeah, and I gotta say, that was a really good look from 100 Thieves. BMFX on the Ash. Some of those ECAs went wide. The ones that connected were really, really good in helping ensure that they could start off those clean fights and clean engages so that they were fighting the front to backs and all the melees. They could keep their backline safe. And, you know, Tenacity Busio, we were kind of pitching the pregame as like, hey, which members have to step up, you know, for 100 Thieves to maybe posture for that #1 position rather than be more consistent in the later stages of the game. How about both? Both just had massive games there.
BMFX and Busio working well together once again. This is something that BMFX has needed to just kind of answer to as the newest or one of the newest members to the Academy squad alongside Will, but this being his Academy debut. A lot of things to live up to. Great look on the Ash. We'll see if we can continue that progress for 100 Thieves Academy, as all of them did a fantastic job. But for CLG Academy, they will want to answer back. We'll see what is the result when we come back from break in just a few minutes.